Hey, what's up, guys? Scott here, back once again with another video. This time I'm going to be reviewing the newest MCU film, The Marvels. A film that's been divisive, to say the least. Even before it was released, the people are already on different sides of the fence about it. But I'm here to find out. I've had a couple weeks to think on it and kind of get together my thoughts and some notes. So I want to give you my thoughts on the film. So, okay, right off the bat, this is not by no means one of the best MCU films. It's not like top tier MCU, but it is one of the most fun MCU movies I have seen, and just honestly one of the most fun movies I've seen at the theater in a long time. I had a great time watching this movie. I left the theater man, that was a good time. And I could see myself going back to see that movie again. And I've seen it quite a few times. I've seen it a few times already. So, and that, I guess, so I can say this movie stuck with me. I walked out the first time I saw it. I was like, man, that was a fun movie. I want to see that again. So, so it's not a great, as far as quality, it's not one of the best MCU movies, but it's one of the most fun. And so I want to go into that, the things that work in its favor. Number one, the action sequences I thought were really well done and fast paced and I'll get into this in a minute, but from the time the movie starts, it's like bam, 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 hit the ground running, because they don't have time to waste. And I like that. And within that movie, the action sequences I thought were really well done, and they didn't drag on too long. They weren't too short. And when I say action, I mean the action sequences and fight scenes were all done really well. As far as length and choreography, all that, top notch. Especially the final battle on the between Dar-Benn and Carol, Kamala, and Monica. That final fight, awesome. It was like you felt the punches. It was really well done. So that leads me into my second really positive. This movie has a really tight story and runtime. This movie is an hour and 45 minutes, including credits. So they don't have time to waste. And that's been one of my critique of not just MCU, but a lot of movies recently, is they just drag on way too long. They're way too long. This movie showed that you can tell a tight, good story in less than 2 hours. And this movie is really well paced. They don't waste time because they don't have the time to waste. So the runtime I thought fit the movie well, and they used that runtime really well to tell the story. So I thought overall this movie, tight story, tight runtime, can't praise that enough. Because I've watched other reviewers. If you've never looked up a YouTuber called The Critical Drinker, you should look him up sometime. He does a lot of movie reviews and editorial videos about older movies. He reviews a lot of newer movies. Sometimes he'll do special videos about older movies. He did a older movie review not too long ago about the original Predator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That movie's less than 2 hours, and then it tells a great story in that runtime. So this movie, to me, went back to show that modern sense. This movie told a great story, a tight story in less than 2 hours. So give it that. Let's see, my next positive. Okay, the chemistry between Carol, Kamala, and Monica, Brie Larson, Iman Vellani, and Teyonah Parris. Those three actresses and their characters had really good chemistry together. There was humor. There's this one scene where they're going back and forth their powers, trying to train their powers, using back and forth, and they're doing different exercises and stuff. That was fun. It was a fun scene. There's some good touching moments too, heartwarming moments, and so just between the comedy and their working together and their serious moments, I thought the chemistry between those three was one of the best parts of the movie. And I got to give a standout to Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan. She was her performance in that character was just one of the best parts of the movie too. Just she gives the movie at least a point up, out of a score, just because of her. And with her fangirling and stuff that, it was funny. It was fun to watch. So Yeah, this is a yeah. So I'm not gonna really go into. I really can't think of any major negatives I had about the movie, honestly. And I know this movie is receiving a lot of hate, online and stuff, but I really can't think of any major negatives that I really want to go into. Now, it's not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, no, not every movie has to be like Citizen Kane or, you know, Avengers, or in the MC case, Avengers Endgame. So, I mean, this is a good. That's well, coming out of it. I got excuse me. Coming out of it, I got what I wanted going into it. A good, solid, fun movie. That's all I wanted, and I got that. So, okay, so now, so I'm gonna give you my score. I'm gonna give the movie an 8 out of 10. So, because of all the reasons I just said, not a perfect movie, but no major negatives either. I don't think there was anything that just dragged the movie down for me. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a straight 8 out of 10. Definitely go see it. Take your friends and family to go see it. It's a fun time. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into another thing I liked about the movie, but this is gonna get into spoilers. So, spoiler warning. 1, 2, 3. You have been warned. Okay. So another positive I have for the movie, again, spoiler alert, is that this movie actually sets up stuff for moving forward in the MCU. Okay. So I guess let me touch on the post-credit scene first. So at the end of the movie, I won't really go into how, but at the end of the movie, Monica gets trapped in another dimension or another universe because they're doing this whole multiverse thing, right? Okay, so she wakes up. Monica Rambeau gets trapped in another universe, and in the post-credit scene, she wakes up in like this medical room, and we see she sees her mom, Maria Rambeau, played by Lashana Lynch, in the MCU. It's obviously not her mom from her universe. In this universe, Maria Rambeau is the superhero X-Men binary, and not only do we see that, we see Beast come in, and they talk for a little bit. And then Beast says Charles wants to know about this. So obviously they're referring to Charles Xavier. And then, of course, you see the big X on the door. So obviously they're bringing in X-Men, finally. And I am perfectly fine with them doing it through the multiverse. This is the multiverse saga. They're going to have to bring them in somehow. So now I don't know if the main MCU Earth is going to have their own version of the X-Men, or they're just going to use like this universe's. But I personally am perfectly fine with them bringing in the X-Men through the multiverse, because, in the comics you have that. You have different universes of superhero teams that they meet up and team up on occasion, and they have the multiversal Avengers. That is a thing in the comics. So, having multiple universes superhero teams team up on occasion. So, I'm perfectly fine with that. If that's the avenue to bring in the X-Men in, I'm perfectly fine with it. In fact, it's a good connection through Monica, who's from the main MCU universe. So that's good. So I'm excited to see the X-Men brought in. Let me talk about it's not a credit scene, but the ending of the film itself, before the credits starts, is that Kamala Khan goes to recruit Kate Bishop, and they tease, and Kate Bishop accepts, and they start saying like, Ant-Man has a daughter. We're like, we want to form our own team. So they're obviously setting up the Young Avengers for the MCU. So I'm very excited that the MCU is doing something different than what they did with Thanos in the Infinity Saga, where you had the individual heroes, and then they formed the Avengers, and then you had that core team through all 3 phases. And of course, you brought in other members too. But that original core 6, Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Captain America, and Hulk, those 6 were the core team through the first 3 phases of the multiverse saga. The Infinity Saga. And so that's what they did. That team was the one that ultimately, ended up defeating Thanos. So I like that Marvel's doing something different with Kang, and with Kang, they're instead of having like doing the same thing, they're having an older team with like Captain Marvel and Falcon or Sam Wilson, and They're gonna have, and Hawkeye probably, Thor. They're gonna have the old generation. Obviously, they'll still be there, but they're gonna train a younger team to kind of team up with them. So that's different. I like that. Now it'll still be the same story, fighting the big bad, Kang or whoever it's gonna be, but it's different. I like that the MCU is doing something different, and also bringing in the X-Men through the multiverse, and probably the Fantastic Four too. I like that they're doing something different this time around instead of just the same thing they did in the Infinity Saga. So it's got my seal of approval. I'm excited to see what happens next, and yeah, can't wait. So the next MCU movie coming out is Deadpool 3, and it is confirmed to be part of the MCU. So we will see what they do there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and peace out.